You are listening to The World As I See It podcast. 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 As I See It.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The World As I See It podcast. Today, we're going to be answering the top 10 questions about blindness. You know, the ones that you secretly Googled because you were too afraid to ask out loud. Yeah, those. I'm going to share my experiences talking about the tech that I use and just set the record straight on a lot of things. But first, I always want to hear from you. What are your specific questions about life without sight? Send them in and I might just dedicate an entire future episode to your question. You can email me at theworldasiseeitpodcast@gmail.com. Let's dive in. Let's start with the essential question. The one that sets the stage. What do you actually see? I get asked if it's just pure total black, and that is the biggest misconception out there. The truth is that blindness is different for every person. So some people, they have blurry vision. Some can still see light and shapes. But for me, I have no light perception. I don't see black because black is still something that you see. It's a color that you see. Basically, I see an absence of vision. The easiest way to think about it is closing one of your eyes or both of them. That's complete nothingness. That is the lack of any input. That's the closest that I will get to describing it. And because this is a big topic, we have to talk about the inner world. What do your dreams look like? And honestly, I don't even remember my dreams. Sometimes I don't even think that I dream at all because I just don't remember any of them. But if I am dreaming, those dreams, they have no visual images. So it's basically how I see on a everyday basis in my dreams. They're built from my sensory experiences. So sound, touch, and motion. Question number 3. Let's talk about the real challenges. What's the most frustrating thing about being blind? Everyone thinks that the most frustrating part is the daily routines, the walking, the cooking, the finding things. And those are just puzzles we solve with technology and practice. The actual most frustrating thing for me is the way that other people treat me. It's the constant challenge of showing people that you are capable. It's the low expectations. It's when somebody, they grab your arm to help without even asking, or talks to the person next to you instead of talking to you. The physical stuff, we figure it out. But dealing with the world that doesn't expect you to be independent, that's the real heavy challenge. And it's not every day, but it is sometimes, and it is very frustrating. Now, let's move right into the practical life questions, starting with the biggest one. How do you use your phone or computer? I get asked this a lot. But I use a built-in accessibility feature called a screen reader, like VoiceOver on the iPhone. So the phone literally talks to me. It's this little robotic voice, And everything on the screen, the text, the buttons, the notifications, it's all read aloud. I can navigate, type emails, and check social media all through audio feedback. Speaking of practical matters, here's a very frustrating reality. How do you tell paper money apart? So this is only a problem because in the US, all of the bills are the exact same size. But we have solutions. So I use something called an iBill money identifier. So it's a small handheld device where I insert the bill and it will speak the denomination aloud. So it'll say like $20. It can also beep or vibrate if I don't want people to hear how much money that I have. After that, I use something called a pocket money brailer. It literally can fit in your pocket. And it has braille numbers 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. So I will slide my bill in there, and let's say I have a $5 bill. I will push the key for 5, and it will punch those braille dots in for 5. And then I will organize the bills in my wallet a special way so that I can quickly pay for things. Okay, so let's talk about mobility. How do you get around, and why a cane instead of a guide dog? So this is a great question, and it really comes down to personal preference. Right now, I'm using a long white cane, but in the future, I want to get a guide dog. They're incredibly high trained, and using either one is totally a personal decision. This is a very common curiosity. How do you cook safely in the kitchen? So, cooking, it's actually easier than people think because it relies so much on touch and, organization, and where you put things. And for safety, I use tactile markings. They are called bump dots. For example, I will put little raised dots on the stove knobs to, mark the off and, the medium settings. I have braille measuring cups so that I can measure stuff. And I just listen and smell to when things are done. And I can tell if water is boiling or if something is really hot by the special sounds that it makes. It's all about creating a system where everything is always in the same place. Organization is my big thing when I'm cooking, or when I'm doing anything really. Organization is key for me. Now let's talk about the closet. How do I choose clothes and organize my closet? So it's actually very systematic. I rely heavily on organization. So it's different for everybody, but I use the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses, and they're basically sunglasses but like with cameras, and I can hold up an item of clothing and ask it what color it is, what design it has, to give me all the details, and then I can find something to match it. Or I also like those sets that just go together, like one set, the pair of pants goes with that pair of shirt. That's my big thing. And I also just get, stuff that's like easy to match with. So if I'm in a hurry, I can just pick something out really, really fast if need be. But it is personal preference. Some people, they choose to use Braille safety pens that has color, and that kind of thing. This is a classic question. Do you have super hearing? If I had a superpower, it would be something way cooler than just slightly above average hearing. The reality is that my hearing, it's physically normal, but what happens is my brain focuses so much more intensely. I rely on sounds that sighted people, they tune out. Like the specific echo of my cane on the sidewalk. And also, just by people's voices. You know, like if you talk to me, I can tell what kind of day you've had. If you're happy, if you're a more introverted person, like I can pick up on things like that since I can't see your body language. I can hear a lot in your voice. A voice tells me a lot about a person. It's not a superpower, it's highly trained attention. Finally, let's end with the most important question that gives full context to my life. Is your life sad or limited because you can't see? Absolutely not. My life isn't sad or just boring. And I'm not just sitting here in my room thinking, oh, this is just, I can't do anything for myself. I can't be independent. I'm not thinking that. Absolutely not. I'm living my best life. But I will be honest. Are there days when it's frustrating when I can't just drive to a friend's house or easily look at something? Yes, of course. Those frustrating moments, they are real. But when it comes to things like this, I may do things differently than a sighted person, like cooking or picking out clothing, but I can still do them. And I really hope that this episode has educated you, because blindness is simply a characteristic, a challenge I solve every day. It's definitely not the total sum of who I am. My life is full and joyful. And that's a wrap on Top 10 Questions. I hope I've cleared up some major curiosity and, more importantly, kept you completely entertained and educate. And I hope that you got something out of this. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What are your specific questions? Do not hold back. You will not offend me. Ask me anything. This is your chance to provide feedback and guide the future of this podcast. You can comment wherever you listen or send it straight to my email. That address is theworldasiseeitpodcast@gmail.com. I can't wait to read your feedback and build the next episode around what you want to hear. Stay curious and keep listening, and I'll catch you next time for episode 13.
You've been listening to The World as I See It podcast.